Hey everyone! If you're diving into Umamusume Pretty Derby and wondering who's truly worth your time and tickets, you're in the right place. As a trainer, you know every character has their own charm and skills, but let's be real, some just shine a little brighter. We put together this tier list to help you spot those standout stars, so you can focus on scouting the absolute best, without wasting any luck. Whether you're new or a seasoned player, figuring out who's top tier can be tricky with so many amazing options. Don't worry though, we'll break it down in a fun and easy way so you know exactly who to aim for when re-rolling or scouting. Let's jump right in and find those game changers that'll take your team to the next level. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking characters in Umamusume Pretty Derby. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The characters in this tier are in order from top left to bottom right: Haru Urara, Majiro Ryan, Winning Ticket, and Agnes Tachyon. Alright, let's dive into the not-so-glamorous side of Umamusume Pretty Derby characters, the Dtier Squad. You know, those gals who try their best but just can't quite cut it across every race type. Spoiler alert, they have their shining moments, but also some serious please don't pick me for this vibes. Let's break them down one by one and have a little fun while we do it. First up, we have Haru Urara, the queen of dirt tracks and sprint races. If you're looking to rocket off the gate and leave everyone in the dust on a dirt course, she's your girl. Her late attack strategy is actually pretty solid, meaning she can surprise opponents with a last-minute push. But, and it's a big but, if the race is on turf, forget about it. She turns into a total disaster. Also, don't even think about putting her in medium or long races unless you want to watch a slow-motion train wreck. She's like that one friend who's amazing at party karaoke but freezes up at formal events. Then there's Majiro Ryan, the turf specialist. She shines on grass tracks and has a knack for medium-length races. If your strategy is all about pacing and then launching a late surge, she fits right in. However, her stamina is so low for long-distance races that she'll probably need a nap halfway through. Dirt tracks? Nope, not her scene. And sprint races? Also a no-go. Majiro Ryan is basically the diva who demands the perfect stage, or she won't perform. Winning Ticket sounds like a champ just from the name, right? She's excellent at turf races and handles medium distances well. Her late surge game is impressive too, which means she's a great finisher when the stakes are high. Sadly, dirt tracks are her kryptonite, and short races are even worse. You don't want her blazing off the start line in a sprint. She just can't keep up. She's the kind of runner who prefers a steady pace and a strong finish, but won't win any quick sprints to impress the crowd. Agnes Tachyon, oh Agnes. She's amazing on turf tracks and does well in medium-length races. Plus, she offers a variety of strategies, so you can get creative with your race plans. But if the track is dirt, she's out of her depth. And sprint or mile races? Also not her jam. Agnes feels like a classy, strategic player who needs everything just right to show off, but struggles in the more chaotic, fast-paced scenarios. Now, if you're thinking, wait, are all these characters just turf lovers who hate dirt? Well, you're basically right. The D-tier bunch seems to have turf as their comfort zone, and anything off that turf tends to send them straight into Struggle City. So if you're running races on dirt or really short sprints, maybe think twice before picking them. Despite their shortcomings, these characters can still surprise you in the right conditions. For example, Haru Urara's amazing sprint speed on dirt tracks can sometimes catch opponents off guard, and Majiro Ryan's ability to control pace and launch a late surge on turf can be a clutch move when timed perfectly. So yeah, the D-tier label might sound harsh, but these gals aren't hopeless. They're just niche specialists. If you play to their strengths and avoid their weaknesses, they can still add some spice to your team lineup. Just don't expect them to win every race, especially if it's off their favorite terrain or distance. Alright, that's the scoop on the D-tier gang. Ready to take a chance on one of these underdogs? Or are you sticking to the higher tiers? Either way, knowing their quirks might just save you from a total flop next race day. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Nice Nature, Sakura Bakushin O, Matika no Fukukataru, King Halo, and Super Creek. Alright, now that we survived the D-tier ride, let's step it up a notch and talk about the C-tier characters in Umamusume Pretty Derby. These girls are like your solid middle-of-the-pack runners. Not spectacular, but definitely not going to embarrass you either. They have their strengths and weaknesses, so if you play them right, you can sneak in some decent wins. Let's get into it. First, let's chat about Nice Nature. This one is a turf track enthusiast through and through. She really shines when the race stretches out to medium or long distances, and you get to play around with several strategy options with her. The catch? Dirt tracks just aren't her thing at all, and sprint races don't really suit her style. So if you're looking for a reliable, steady performer on turf over longer distances, Nice Nature could be a good pick. Just don't expect her to flash any speed bursts. Then we have Sakura Bakushin O, the classic sprinter diva. She loves turf tracks and absolutely kills it in sprint races, where her speed really pops. But, and this is a big but, her stamina is super low, which means you can't expect her to handle medium or long races, and dirt tracks? Forget it. She's basically built for those quick, high-energy bursts on turf sprints. Think of her like a firecracker, short, fast, and gone before you know it. Next up, Matakan Fukukitaru is another turf specialist who's great at medium and long-range races. She also offers a bunch of strategy options to mix things up during the race. However, dirt tracks are still a hard no for her, and she's not the best when it comes to sprinting. So, if you love those longer turf battles and want someone versatile, she's a nice option to have in your stable. King Halo is a bit of an all-rounder on turf. He does well in pretty much every race except long-distance ones. His strengths lie in pacing and late strategies, so if you like controlling the race tempo and pulling off a strong finish, King Halo has your back. Dirt tracks? Nope, still off limits. And don't expect him to shine in those long marathons either. He's that dependable middleweight fighter who can hold his own in most fights, but won't be the knockout champion. Super Creek rounds out this list with solid turf performance and excels in long-distance races. He has a few good strategies in his toolkit, which can help keep things interesting. The downside? His base speed and power stats are on the lower side, so short races are definitely not his playground. Think of him like a marathon runner, steady, patient, and built to go the distance, but he's not winning any sprints. What's interesting about this C-tier crew is how turf-centric they all are. Dirt tracks continue to be their Achilles heel, so if the race isn't on grass, these girls might struggle more than you'd want. Still, their range of strategy options means they're not one-trick ponies and can surprise you if you manage their strengths well. If you like playing tactically and choosing the right moment to push, King Halo and Matakane Fukukitaru might be your go-tos. Sakura Bakushin O is the pick for when you want that explosive, fast-paced thrill on sprint turf races, while Nice Nature and Super Creek will hold down the longer, steadier races with solid consistency. In the end, the C-tier characters might not always grab the spotlight, but they're definitely reliable workhorses for your team, especially if you're focusing on turf races that stretch out over medium to long distances. Just remember to keep them off the dirt tracks and short sprints, and you'll be in for some smooth races. So, feeling confident with the C-tier crew yet? They might not be flashy superstars, but sometimes the steady players are the ones who help you sneak past that finish line with a smile. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Biwa Hayahide, Tokai Teo Anime Collab, Tokai Teo, Daiwa Scarlet, Air Groove, Grass Wonder, Gold Ship, and Vodka. Alright, time to level up from the C tier and talk about the B tier characters in Umamusume Pretty Derby. These girls are solid performers who can hold their own in a lot of situations, but they've got their quirks and limits too. You might not always see them grabbing the spotlight, but they bring some serious value if you know how to play their strengths. Let's jump right in. Starting with Biwa Hayahide. She's a turf track queen who really shines in longer races. If you like pacing your runs and chasing down the front runners steadily, she's great at that. The downside? Dirt tracks are a no-go, and her unique skill just doesn't quite mesh well with her racing style, which is a bit of a bummer. It's like having a secret weapon that refuses to fire properly. Frustrating but manageable. Next up, Tokai Teo from the anime collaboration version packs some really good base stats and fits perfectly in the meta for medium-distance races. The catch is, she's a bit of a one-trick pony when it comes to strategy options. Basically, you have one go-to plan with her. Also, short races aren't her playground, so if it's a quick dash, better look elsewhere. Then we have the classic Tokai Teo, who's an all-around good girl. She's very good on turf and excels in medium races, making her a reliable pick. But dirt tracks and short races are still her weak spots. It's funny how these turf specialists keep stacking up, right? If it's a mid-length turf race, you can count on her, but don't expect magic elsewhere. Daiwa Scarlet is another turf specialist who's amazing at medium distances and really knows how to handle front and pace strategies. Her base stats are a little on the low side, but she more than makes up for it with race smarts. Of course, dirt tracks are still a nope for her, so keep her away from the rough stuff. Air Groove offers solid all-around stats and is a good pick for turf and medium races. She's pretty balanced, but doesn't shine in sprints or long races, and dirt tracks are definitely her weakness. She's like the steady middle child who doesn't scream for attention, but quietly gets the job done. Grass Wonder specializes in mile-length races on turf and brings several strategy options to the table, which makes her versatile. However, her low base stamina and guts hold her back, and her stats sometimes seem contradictory. Like she's trying to be a jack of all trades but ends up confused about what she really wants to be. Still, with the right play style, she can surprise you. Gold Ship is a turf superstar for long-distance races with plenty of strategy options. The catch? She's terrible for short races, awful on dirt, and, here's the kicker, extremely difficult to train. She's that diva who demands all the attention and perfect conditions to perform well, but when she shines, she really shines. Last but not least, Vodka is amazing for medium-length races and has good pace and late strategy options. Like most of the B-tier crew, dirt tracks and sprints or long races are not her thing. If you want a versatile medium-distance runner who can kick late, Vodka is a solid choice. So yeah, the B-tier gang is mostly turf-loving, medium-distance pros with their own unique perks and frustrations. If you play their cards right, they'll be reliable workhorses that help you dominate the race without too many surprises. Just remember, keep them off dirt and short sprints, and they'll reward your faith. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Silent Suzuka, El Condor Pasa, Majiro McQueen Anime Collab, Majiro McQueen, Special Week, TM Opera O, Mayano Top Gun, and Mihono Bourbon. Alright, now we're hitting the A tier. These characters are where things start to get really interesting. Fast, versatile, and reliable, but with just enough flaws to keep you on your toes. Think of them as the solid gold standard of Umamusume Pretty Derby, the runners who can seriously shake up the race if used right. Let's break down the A-tier champs, one by one. First up is Silent Suzuka, the Speed Demon. She's got excellent speed and shines brightest in medium-length races, especially if you like using the front chaser strategy. However, dirt tracks absolutely crush her vibe. She's painfully bad on those, so if you want her blazing ahead on turf with that killer front-runner style, she's your girl. Then there's El Condor Pasa, one of the more versatile racers. This one can actually handle both turf and dirt tracks well, which is a rare treat among these A-tier stars. He excels in mile and medium distance races and offers several strategy options to keep things spicy. His downside? Low base stamina and not much love for sprint races. So if it's a mid-distance turf or dirt battle, he's a solid pick. Majiro McQueen's anime collaboration version packs excellent base stamina and guts, making her amazing for long races. She can flex as both a front runner and a pace chaser, which is neat. But honestly, she's not much different from the original, and both versions are useless on dirt and sprint races. Still, if long-distance turf is your battlefield, she's a powerhouse. Speaking of the original Majiro McQueen, she's a meta staple for long races thanks to her amazing stamina and guts. She has two solid strategy options, but her low base speed and power keep her from shining in short races. Basically, she's a marathon master who doesn't sprint well but can outlast everyone else. Special Week is a fan favorite for a reason. Very good on turf, amazing for long races, and packs several strategy options with all-around good stats. The catch? She struggles in sprint races and dirt tracks. If you want a dependable long-distance turf racer with a flexible strategy set, Special Week is your go-to. TM Opera O is another long-distance turf specialist, with excellent base stamina and guts. She brings several strategy options and solid stats to the table. But again, she's very bad at sprints and not great on dirt. If you like playing strategic long races on turf, she's a safe bet. Mayano Top Gun is good on turf and amazing for longer races, with great performance across all strategies. However, her base speed and power stats are very low, and she's abysmal in short races. Think of her as a steady tortoise rather than a hare, built to endure rather than sprint. Last but not least, Mihono Bourbon shines best in medium-distance turf races. Her base stamina is poor, and she has very limited strategy options, which means she requires careful handling to get the best results. If you're looking for a more specialized pick for mid-distance turf and can manage her quirks, she's worth a shot. So, the A-tier crew is basically your reliable, mostly turf-focused racers, who dominate medium to long distances and offer solid strategy options. Dirt tracks and sprints still trip them up, but if you play to their strengths, these runners will keep you competitive and often on top. Ready to make your team shine? The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Oguri Cap, Maruzensky, Taiki Shuttle, Symboli Rudolph, and Rice Shower. Alright, buckle up because we're diving into the creme de la creme, the S-tier characters of Umamusume Pretty Derby. These gals and guys are absolute powerhouses who can turn any race into a showcase of skill and speed. They bring versatility, strategy options, and serious competitive edge, but even in the top tier, they have their quirks. Let's break down what makes them legends and where they might trip up. First off, we have Oguri Cap, a rare gem who's comfortable on both turf and dirt tracks, a huge advantage in this turf-heavy world. She's amazing at medium-distance races and offers several solid strategy options to keep your opponents guessing. However, she's got a pretty bad sprint race grade, so short races aren't her thing, and her base stamina is quite low, meaning she might struggle in really long, exhausting races. Still, she's a versatile beast that can handle many race types. Next, Maruzensky is a turf specialist who can run well at all distances. She's especially strong early in races, with front-running strategies, which means she likes to lead the pack from the start. But beware, her base stamina is very low, and long races aren't where she shines. Think of her as a sprinter meets mid-distance racer who can burn bright but might fizzle out if the race drags on. Taiki Shuttle is another turf and dirt track all-rounder who excels at medium distances. She's fantastic as a pace chaser, meaning she's great at controlling the race tempo and timing her final burst perfectly. Like Oguri Cap, her sprint performance is lacking, and her base stamina is low, so you want to be careful with how you manage her energy over the race. Symboli Rudolph boasts all-around good stats and excels on turf, especially in medium and long races. She comes packed with several good strategy options, making her a very flexible and reliable pick. The only downsides? She's not suitable for short races and performs poorly on dirt tracks, so stick to turf medium to long distances if you want her to shine. Rice Shower is the endurance queen with amazing base stamina and guts, two stats that scream, "I will outlast everyone." She's excellent on turf and is a meta pick for long and medium races. Her specialty is the pace chaser strategy, where she can dominate with her staying power. However, training her is notoriously difficult, and dirt tracks remain a weak spot. If you can put in the work, Rice Shower pays off big time. What's really striking about these S-tier characters is how many of them can handle dirt tracks well, something that's rare in the Umamusume universe. Oguri Cap and Taiki Shuttle both shine on dirt and turf, giving you a tactical edge when the race course isn't just grass. This flexibility makes them invaluable for mixed race schedules. Despite their strengths, stamina seems to be a recurring Achilles' heel for several S-tier racers. Low base stamina means you've got to manage their energy carefully, timing their bursts and using their strategy options smartly to avoid them running out of steam before the finish line. Also, sprint races still remain a weak point for most of these S-tier legends, so if you have a big sprint coming up, you might want to consider other specialists for that particular race. But for medium and long distances, especially on turf, these characters are often the ones holding the trophy. In short, if you're looking to build a team that can flex across different distances and terrains with top-tier strategy options, the S-tier crew is your dream lineup. They require some careful management, but when you get it right, they don't just race, they dominate. Ready to bring the best of the best to the track? The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.